Hey, this is the Precalculus Syllabus for Bangor Christian Schools. My name's John Partridge, so let's go ahead and read what the expectations are of the Precalculus student. First, let's start with our statement of purpose. Precalculus is the branch of mathematics where algebra and geometry are brought together in greater synthesis, and the student begins an in-depth investigation into functions, their properties, and how they relate to each other. The purpose of precalculus is to prepare the student to advance to calculus, or further studies in mathematics and or science. First part of student expectations. Some principles must be outlined if you are to be successful in this course. All work must be original and authentic work. It's got to be yours. You must be on time and on task for all classes. You need to ask questions, lots and lots of questions. You are responsible for your learning. You must think. God has made you to be an independent thinker. Yes, you are unique and individually made by Him, but you are also responsible for your interest in this course. Contrary to common thought, interest level in a course is a choice, not an emotion. You are responsible to bring and perform your best and to think through problems of this course. Lastly, if your grade is below a D, you will be staying with me after school during academic detention until the grade is brought up. That's period. Academic detention is not a punitive punishment, okay? It's there to help you. So if you are not doing well, if you have an F in the course, you will be getting what's called an academic detention. Again, it's not punitive, it's not meant to punish you, it's meant to help you. Homework policy, homework is done in pencil. No late homework will be taken for a grade, but all homework is expected to be done. You will be staying with me after school if you have late homework. Questions about makeup. Makeup is given only if you were absent from school. If you are at school for any length of time, you become responsible for the work we complete in class, and you must have your assignments ready for the next school day. This includes times like tardy to school, missed class because of an appointment, away trips for ball teams or practices for music or plays, and field trips. Make sure you give me your homework before you go and get today's assignment. When you come back, all homework assigned the previous day must be completed. Please give the day's completed homework to a fellow student or myself so it will be passed in on time and so you may receive credit for your work. The kinds of things that we do: homework, in-class assignments, quizzes, projects, and tests. If you are absent the day before a test, but was given knowledge about the exam prior to this absence, which you will be, tests will be announced at least a half week to a full week in advance, then you are still required to take the exam. Notebooks, journals, you are responsible and expected to take notes in class. Grading system, homework 10%, in-class 10%, project 15%, quiz 28%, test 37% of your quarter grade. Extra credit, there is none. Questions you might have, and if you don't, then they're worth covering. Are grades scaled? No. Am I responsible to bring my own materials? Yes. Which materials? Pencil, colored pencils, paper, notebook, calculator, textbook. Power School is updated on the weekend. Be sure to be checking your grades for the following week. A parent's signature is required on this document before any grades are submitted to Power School. This syllabus is a contract of understanding between the teacher, student, and parent. Honesty and Code of Conduct Policy. All students are expected to abide by the Bangor Christian School Code of Conduct. Failure to comply with adherence to the school community policies will result in appropriate disciplinary measures determined by the instructor within those predetermined set guidelines. Cheating policy. Cheating is met with 0% tolerance. Appropriate disciplinary measures will be taken in the event of cheating and will address the level of cheating to the maximum penalty enforced by school policy and code of conduct. Student expectations, part 2. Students will be held to the highest level of expectations from their instructor. The student in this course is to be on task at all times. This means that any activity that contradicts, hinders, or slows reduces the amount of time spent on assigned tasks and course goals toward effective learning for both the individual and the class as a whole will be put to an abrupt stop. The student's response to teacher intervention will determine if further disciplinary measures are necessary. You must pursue an inquisitive and interested mind. Contrary to popular thinking, the student is in full control of their interest and level in the course. We are created to be people who think and make choices. Interest is not an emotion, it's a choice. Your interest level in this course is a choice predetermined by you. The teacher will endeavor to make the course interesting to the student with various discussions and methods of instruction, but it remains solely in the hands of the student to apply his or herself. You're expected to turn assigned work in on time. That needs no further clarification. You are expected to prepare appropriately and beforehand for all assessments. Quizzes and tests must be prepared for ahead of time. The amount of time and the amount of intervention varies from student to student. You are, as the student, are held responsible for the amount of effort you place into your learning. Goal setting. The student is expected to think of goals for themselves, what they would like to achieve from the course. If the instructor knows the individual student's goals, then the instructor can use this knowledge to help the student learn in ways that are best for the student. Think. This course emphasizes thinking. I can't do it. I've never been able to do math. I don't know. I will not. I don't know how. In a whining voice attitude are inappropriate responses. Appropriate responses are, I'm not sure if I understand. Could you help me? I'm struggling with this. I feel anxious about this subject, but I will try, etc. Those are appropriate responses. Check bad attitudes at the door. Attitudes are a choice, and explosive, unproductive, hindering, and harmful feelings are irrelevant and will not be tolerated. Again, God has made us to be creatures of choice. Act accordingly, please. Course content covered. Chapter 1, review of functions, transformations of functions, evaluations of functions, difference quotients, compositions, inverse functions, problem solving with functions. Chapter 2, rational functions, zeros of functions, rational zeros theorem, factor theorem, remainder theorem, vertical and horizontal asymptotes, end behavior. Chapter 3, logarithmic and exponential functions, problem solving with logarithmic and exponential functions. Chapter 4, basics and foundations of trigonometry. Chapter 5, trigonometric identities. Chapter 6, problem solving with trigonometry and vectors. Chapter 7, linear and nonlinear systems. Chapter 8, matrices and systems of equations, operations with matrices, inverse matrices, applications of matrices and determinants. Chapter 9, sequences and series, arithmetic sequences and partial sums, geometric sequences and series, mathematical induction, binomial theorem, counting principles, and probability. Chapter 10,
Alert
introduction.
From updates available.
Chapter 10, introduction to lines, parabolas, ellipses, hyperbolas, rotations of conics, parametric equations, polar coordinates, graphing polar equations. Chapter 12, introduction to limits, evaluating limits, tangent line problems, limits at infinity, and the area problem. This is the portion that needs to be signed and turned in the next period. This will count as a grade in the gradebook. That's it. God bless you.